Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my 2017 makeup and beauty favorites. In my last video, we talked about my favorite skincare products of 2017. I thought it'd be a great idea to break those two videos up since I have a number of products I want to talk to you about today. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and be sure to add me on all of your other social media platforms. I will link my handles down below. Toby, as you might be able to hear, is sleeping and snoring. Hopefully you guys cannot hear it or don't mind it. But yeah. Let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Some of these are repeats from last year, or they aren't necessarily releases from 2017. These are just the products that I found myself reaching for on a daily basis. I'll start with primers, kind of makeup, and then end with some hair care as well. So for primers, I'm gonna chat about the MAC Mineralized Charged Water Skin Hydrating Mist. This is what she looks like. I think I may have shared this with you in a number of tutorials, but this is what I reach for kind of every morning as a means to prep the skin. I purchased this for Coachella initially and just kind of fell in love. I feel like this definitely hydrates the skin and preps it for excellent makeup application. I used this while I was at Coachella this year and my skin did beautifully at the desert, and I think this may be a reason why. My second favorite primer for 2017 was the Too Faced Hangover RX. This is a replenishing face primer and she looks like that. This contains coconut water and probiotic based ingredients, and it also contains skin revivers. This is silicone free, which I think is one of the reasons why I like it. I tend to reach for this when I want a more dewy look to the skin with added hydration, whereas with the MAC Charged Water, I feel the hydration, but I don't get that dewy feel or look to the skin as I get with this. Next, we will chat about foundations, and then we'll dip right into concealers and then some brow products. This is a repeat. I think this has been my favorite foundation since it hit the market. I have purchased this multiple times. I have a backup, but this is the Born This Way foundation. I am currently using the shade Warm Beige. I love this. I can go ahead and apply this with either a beauty blender or a flat kabuki brush and get the desired look I want. The beauty blender definitely shears this out and gives my skin a more natural looking finish. Even if I apply it with the flat kabuki, I still get a natural look to the skin, maybe with a little bit more added coverage. I absolutely love this foundation and I will continue to use it forever and ever. With this Born This Way foundation, I can also get away with using it any time of year, and climate doesn't really play a factor in how this performs. I live in California, so we don't really get a lot of seasonal change here. It's just always magically beautiful. But when I wore this in the desert, skin did excellent. So this, I feel like, works any time of year and at any climate, at least with my skin type. And then this is definitely a new product of 2017. This is the YSL All Hours foundation. This contains an SPF of 20 and it is up to 24-hour wear. It is a flawless matte finish, and this is a full coverage foundation and it is also oil free. This has been kind of my go-to for special events. I have been mixing it with the Too Faced Born This Way just to get the right shade, but this is what she looks like. I am in the shade Warm Honey. I love the packaging. It's very luxe, and I really do love the coverage that this gives my skin. When using this at night for those holiday parties, sometimes I feel like I would get red in the cheeks just because of how hot it can get in this room. and then I would apply this and all of the redness would just be gone. She is, however, quite pricey, but it's a favorite of mine for this year. Another thing to note about this, I love how it works with my flat kabuki. I don't like using this with my beauty blender. I really don't know what happens when I use it with my beauty blender. I just don't like how it looks on my skin when I do go in and use the beauty blender. So I know that if I'm going to use this foundation, I will be using a flat kabuki brush. Otherwise, I don't really have any issues with this. This gives me that matte finish that I look for sometimes in a foundation without overly drying my skin. And now for concealers. This is a repeat, of course, from last year, but the Tarte Shape Tape. I am in the shade medium. I am almost out of this and I already have a backup, but this is my favorite concealer when I know that I haven't gotten much sleep, when I know that I have, you know, crazy under eye circles, or I go in with this for special occasions as well. It just totally depends on my mood and how my skin looks that particular day. I love using this. My favorite way to use this is with a beauty blender. I love how this doesn't crease and it doesn't look too heavy or cakey beneath the eye area. This is a new favorite of this year. This is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. That's what she looks like. I already have a backup of this as well. I am in the shade medium 30. I love this stuff. I tend to use this every day, like every work day. Like I said, unless I have crazy under eye circles, then I'll go in with the Tarte Shape Tape. But otherwise, I reach for this almost every day that I wear makeup. This does tend to oxidize a little bit for me, but I don't really mind it. My favorite way to apply this again is with a beauty blender as well, and I feel like it doesn't look too cakey or too heavy beneath the eye area, and I think that it is quite inexpensive as well. I think maybe like $6 or $8. And for brows, this is genuinely my favorite brow product for 2017. This is the ColourPop Brow Boss. I am in the shade dark brown, and I have gone through 2 of these already since they came out, but this is my go-to everyday brow product. I know I ran out of my first one and I went back to the ABH brow pencil, and I missed this so much, so I had to get a new one. But this is the brow product that I have on my brows today. I feel like it gives me a great natural brow, and I can achieve it very quickly. I feel like it is not too dry and not too soft, especially for that brow space. This is what it looks like on my hand. Obviously on my hand it's going to look a lot different than it does on the brow. I really love this product. This is probably a repeat from last year, but my favorite brow gel for this year is the ABH Clear Brow Gel. It is what I have on my brows today and what I will probably use for the rest of my life. Alrighty, and for mascara, let's see. I wanted to try a new mascara this year. I have been using the Too Faced Better Than Sex for like years and years. So I tried the Tarte Tartist mascara, and I felt like a little disappointed when I initially saw the brush, since it is not as fluffy or as voluminous as I tend to like my mascara wands. I was actually surprised. I really liked how well this mascara performed on my eyelashes. I felt like it definitely gave me volume and it separated my mascara, and I never had any flaking at the end of the workday. Then after that expired, I went back to the Urban Decay Perversion mascara, which looks like this. I use this every day now, and this is the kind of mascara wand that I love. I love the bristles and I love how full it looks. Again, this is great at giving my lashes volume, and it separates and I don't flake at the end of a long work day. And now we'll move on to powders. This was definitely a 2017 launch. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder Compact. This is a powder that I will use either for under eye setting or just an all over kind of powder, or just a T-zone powder depending on how I'm feeling that particular day. But I really like this. This kind of reminds me of the MAC powder. It is lightweight, finely milled, and it stays on the skin and it sets everything nicely for you. I feel like if you are someone who is on a budget, this is a great drugstore powder. This is definitely a repeat, but this is my favorite yellow powder. I think I've purchased this 3 times already just for this powder alone. This is the Marc Jacobs 40 Mirage Filter. This is a light filtering contour powder, and I love using the yellow or the banana shade beneath the eye area to set my concealer. Sometimes I will just kind of buff anything that's left on the brush over the T-zone. This has been a favorite powder of mine for years and years. It stays on the skin. It doesn't dry out my under eye area, and it just looks very natural, and it really does help to brighten up that under eye area, especially if you tend to suffer from dark under eye circles. Alrighty, and now for bronzers. I think in 2016 I was in a little bit of a rut. I used the same bronzer day in and day out, and this year I was able to find 2 that I loved. They are both by ColourPop, and the first, it is, what shade is this in? Oh, Afternoon Delight. They never have the names written down here. This is what it looks like on my hand, but I use this every day, as you can tell. This is kind of dirty and filthy, but I love this bronzer. It's the one I have on my skin today, and I absolutely love it. The next one I have is the Alexis Ren and ColourPop collab. This is their Topaz combo, and this is the bronzer and highlighter. The highlighter is definitely too dark for me. Maybe I can use it as an eyeshadow, but this bronzer in Golden Moment is everything. I used this bronzer when we were at Coachella this year. This is definitely more orangey, whereas this is maybe more of a cooler of the two, but this is a great bronzer. Stays on the skin all day. It's not heavy or cakey or too chalky, and I just love these 2 shades. Sometimes I'll bounce between both of them, but these 2 were the bronzers that I definitely used the most in 2017. The bronzers, I typically apply it with either of these 2 brushes, and they're filthy dirty, but this is the Sigma large angled contour, and then this is the Real Techniques blush brush, but I love either one of these for a bronzer application. Great brushes. For blush, I have an oldie but a goodie here. This is the MAC Dainty brush. I typically don't gravitate towards pink blushes, but for some odd reason I was picking this one up quite a bit during the fall. But that is what she looks like. This is perfect for everyday wear. I kind of just dusted along the cheek area here, and I love the color. It's just perfect for everyday wear. And then definitely my favorite blush. This is definitely what I reach for any time of year, a peachy blush. This is the ColourPop The Knockout palette, and the shade here is called Excuse My French. Peachy blush, that is what she looks like, and that is the shade that I have on the skin today. And one of my favorite brushes of this year, I'll just kind of throw it in here since we're talking about blush, is the ColourPop blush brush. ColourPop brushes are really nice. Great quality. I have the whole brush collection by them. I love the quality. I think they're cruelty free. I love the handle. There's a nice weight to them as well, but I like ColourPop's blush brush to apply my ColourPop blush. Let's talk about highlighters. Definitely my favorite highlighter of the year is the Dose of Colors Desi and Katy collab. This is their highlighter in Fuego. This is gluten-free, cruelty-free, and talc-free. But let's do a swatch for you. I just love this shade. Pairs nicely with the bronzers that I have swatched right there. But I love this. I wear this every day, and I probably should have gotten a backup. My favorite way to apply a highlighter is using the Morphe fan brush. This is one of my favorite brushes of the year. I've tried different ways and different brushes when it comes to highlighter application, and this is definitely my favorite. I love this brush for highlighter application. It just kind of softens the look and it doesn't look like you have a giant streak. I have another favorite. This is the NARS Bank to Sable highlighting palette. This is limited edition, but this was my favorite highlighter palette of the year. I wore this at Coachella for 3 days straight, and everybody commented on my pictures like, dude, like, what's that highlight? Well, it's this, and it's a limited edition, and it's never coming back probably. But this is definitely a favorite. I feel like the powders are finely milled and it doesn't look too chalky or too glittery. Like, this definitely just kind of melts onto the skin. These are the shades right here. Usually when it is summertime, I can just mix these two together, but right now that it's winter, I definitely mix the lighter shades together, or I can just get away and wear this shade right here in the center. But this has been a highlighting palette that I have reached for throughout the entire year. And now we'll talk about eyeshadow palettes. Last year my favorite was the Lorac Mega Pro. I just got so much use out of that palette. But today I'm going to talk about these ColourPop eyeshadow palettes. I love these babies. They're made in LA, they're cruelty free, and they're very, very compact. This is the Element of Surprise palette, which is very colorful and fun. This is the You Had Me at Hello palette, which is full of neutrals, and you have a nice matte kind of berry shade. And you also get a mirror in this palette. This is the one that kind of started it all for them, the Yes Please palette. Very, very popular. I think you have a ton of great shades for spring and summer here. And then this is the I Think I Love You palette, which is a great neutrals palette. Wearing a lot of the shades from this palette on the eye look today. But I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck with ColourPop eyeshadow palettes. You can create several different looks with each of the palettes. And they were a favorite of mine for 2017. Moving right along, we are almost done here. We're going to talk about some lip products. I was never really a huge fan of glosses, but I think this year for me was the year of the gloss. I didn't really play much with color except for maybe when I came on here and filmed for you guys. But typically on an everyday basis, I either wore a lip balm or a lip gloss. Some of my favorites for the year, this is the ColourPop Lychee Me. This is a sheer gloss. It is the shade that I'm wearing on my lips today, and that is what she looks like here. I love this. This is typically what I wear every day at work. And then I have the ColourPop Magic Wand. This is an ultra satin lip, and this is a pinky nude, which she looks like that. Definitely wore this one more towards the beginning of the year for sure. This is a great combo. We'll start with the lipstick. This is the Dose of Colors More Creamer Please. I wore this a lot in my videos towards the end of the year when they released this collection, but this is like my perfect perfect nude. That is what she looks like right here. But I love this finish. This is like a very comfortable lipstick. It is vegan as well, and they don't test on animals, which is excellent. But I really, really love this shade. It is a beautiful neutral nude. And then I also loved the Dose of Colors Over the Top gloss. I can wear this by itself as well. I just love all the glitters in this. It just makes me really, really happy. That is what the gloss looks like over here. You can also wear this over top more creamer please, but on my lips I feel like it changes the color. It just kind of makes it a little bit more orange. Those were my favorite lip products of 2017. Didn't talk about this brush when I was talking about foundations, but this was my favorite foundation brush for the year. This is the Morphe M439. I don't know if I talked about this in my last favorites, but if I did, it's a repeat, and if I didn't, well, hello. I loved reaching for this brush when I didn't want a sheer natural look to my foundations. When I felt like I needed more coverage, I would reach for this. This is what I used to apply a mixture of the Born This Way and YSL All Hours foundation on the skin today, and I really like the coverage that it gives me. I feel like it's very dense, so you're able to really work the foundation into your skin. For hair, this is my last category here. I think my favorite brand for hair care products was definitely OUAI. I have repurchased their texturizing spray over and over again. I love it. I love the texture it gives to my hair. This can also be used as a dry shampoo. So purchased their dry shampoo this year and I really, really like it. I feel like these two fragrances or two products combined really give the hair a great finish. And I also got their rose hair and body oil just recently after going through a kind of travel or deluxe sized product by OUAI. So I went through and I used the I guess deluxe size sample, and then I purchased this, and I am almost I've made a dent in this, and it has a great, very lightweight, rosy scent. My boyfriend doesn't like it, but I don't care. I love this. Alrighty, and that does it for my makeup and beauty favorites for the year 2017. Like I said, those are products that I used heavily throughout the year and products that I loved reaching for almost every day. I hope you guys enjoyed having a look at all of the things I loved throughout the year. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in 2018. Bye! I used this while at was, you know, with favorites for the month. What?